Women don't have as many options as you think, as their phone may be absolutely filled. And if you look at a girl's Tinder, it's gonna have red dots everywhere with matches, messages. She doesn't find every single one of those guys attractive, and she doesn't necessarily want to get with them, as they may be offering to take her on dates. She could sleep with any one of them at any time. She doesn't actually want them. That is the thing, is that there's gonna be a bunch of low value dudes who are options for these girls, but the girls are after the high value dudes, which there are so few of that they actually want to be with. And that is the big discrepancy, which a lot of guys don't really seem to understand, is that women don't have as many high value options as you would imagine. It is way more rare to be a high value man than a beautiful girl. This is absolutely in your favor if you build your value, and for that reason, I made a high value man guide showing you every single way that you can build your value as a man and be that guy that girls are going to respond to and want to go on dates with and want to be dating. That is what's going to help you get to that point, is building your value as a man, and that guide is completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. And now there's 5 key categories that are either going to raise or lower your value as a man. So let's dive into the first one, which is really, really important, and it is physical fitness. The more in shape you are and the more aesthetic your body is, with putting on as much natural muscle as you can hold while being lean, the more attractive you are as a man. Let's just take a second and look at it in the opposite perspective. If you were to choose between 3 different girls, one is fat, one is skinny with no tits and no ass, she's basically a pencil, and the other one has a very aesthetic body. She's got some nice titties, she got a nice ass, she's been hitting her hip thrust, her squats, her legs are toned, she got a tight waist. Which girl are you gonna pick? I'm pretty sure every single guy is going to choose the girl with the nice body. That's just how it works. As long as they have the same faces every single time, I'm pretty sure most guys are going to choose that girl. And it's the same thing for guys. If we're going to compare 3 different guys, one is just skinny, the other dude is fat, and the other guy has an aesthetic good body with muscle and is lean, the guy with muscle and is lean is going to get chosen 9 times out of 10, unless there's some real particular specific preference that a girl has for like a skinny guy or a fat guy, which is extremely rare. So you are going to be opening the door to as many potential partners as possible, and it goes so far beyond just the physical attractiveness that your body will bring. It also shows so many things about your character as a man. It makes you a winning bet. That's really one of the biggest things beyond just the attractiveness, is it shows that you are disciplined. It shows that you can have a goal and see things through and actually accomplish it, showing that you're probably going to be able to accomplish other goals that you have in this life as well. It shows that you're hardworking, that you're willing to sacrifice things, because to truly put on that level of natural muscle that makes you very attractive, you really need to be strict with your diet. You need to push yourself extremely hard in the gym, and girls will just sense this. So there's so many things that really add to your value, not just physical attractiveness, but also just mental and who you are as a man, your internal character, that is going to allow your perceived value to absolutely go through the roof. So it's the first and most important area you need to dial in as a man. And the second area is going to be your intelligence across the board. So I'm talking about your mental intelligence, your emotional intelligence, your personal development as a whole. This is really important, and this is what took me from having an aesthetic physique and not having any success to having a ton of success, was when I really started to develop myself internally. I started meditating to cultivate presence of mind, awareness. This translated over into the conversations that I had, actually staying present, not listening to my negative limiting beliefs that always was messing things up for me when I was younger, and really just being present in the moment. That was so key for me. Also, reading books. I've read over, at this point, 150, maybe 200 books, and this is all the new knowledge that's allowed me to make the changes and actually improve and develop myself in so many different ways. Some of the basic ones that I can break down is my social skills. At 19, I read a couple different books on social skills, and this really changed the game for me, and I understood how to interact socially in a very confident way that led to the results that I wanted. So your internal development the mental things that you do, the internal things that you do to just become the best version of yourself is really, really important. And as you can have the best, most attractive body, everyone has seen just what happens when you just are a gym bro and you don't prioritize any other aspects. It's not going to lead to that same level of success. You may be a good one night stand to girls, but they're not going to take you too serious, and you're going to really lose a lot for not being intelligent. Intelligence is so attractive. The first night that I was in Norway, I went to an after party with this girl and we were discussing what's attractive in men, and she ranked emotional attractiveness as the most attractive thing. She said, obviously, you got to have some looks to get your foot in the door, but beyond that, it's really being intelligent. Intelligence is so, so sexy. Girls will resonate with you so much more. You'll have 10 times more success if you're intelligent and very developed as a man. This is why girls will typically go for older guys, because they're naturally more intelligent from their life experience and their character development that they've gone through. So this is something that you can kind of shortcut by doing a lot of self-improvement. Doing things like solo travel will develop you years in a matter of months. There's so many things you can do to develop as a man and improve your intelligence, but you really got to prioritize this. And now the next one is going to be general looks. So I'm talking about your physical attractiveness in terms of your face, and also I would say your style. We already covered the body and body game, but it's really going to be down to your face and your style. These are two things that are really, really important. So for your face, in terms of the bone structure and stuff like that, you can't do too much to change it, but you can, rock a clean shave. You can try different haircuts. I'm always making slight iterations. I recently just decided to go shorter on the sides, a little longer on the top. My sides, they got too puffy and I didn't like that look. Little things that make you the most attractive version of yourself are so key. So I would be constantly experimenting with those things. If you're a guy who can grow a big beard, maybe you try that out. Maybe it looks good for you. Look at Danny B. He looks silly without a beard and he looks much better with a beard. So there's a lot of things you can do that will improve your physical facial attractiveness. And I would really recommend just looking into it and just trying different things. Now, beyond this, style is so important. Style will get you so much success because style is the way that you present yourself to the world. There's a really cool thing, I mention this all the time. You can chat GPT the type of style that you wear and what sort of association it has with you as a person. So if you were to wear streetwear, ChatGPT is going to say some things, and if that's not who you want to be, if you don't like the associations that naturally come with that sort of clothing, you might want to change it up, because I know some guys who would wear, t-shirts with graphics, and I think that it's a misrepresentation of their character, but they didn't even realize it. But I also know dudes and myself, honestly, this is what I rock, that timeless classics, old money style, things like plain colors, t-shirts, collared shirts, chino pants, jeans, blazers, leather jackets, and what that association is, and that's something that I really like. That sort of label that it gives you. So you got to really determine what sort of character are you, who do you want to be in this life, and pick the appropriate clothing. I personally think the one that's going to get you the most success is that old, timeless classics look, but you can decide for yourself. And now the fourth one I put forth specifically because you're going to want to have all the prior mentioned things, or at least be developing them at the same time as obtaining the fourth, which is success. Because if you think that you're going to get money without all the prior mentioned things and girls are just going to flock to you, you are going to be strongly disappointed. Because I thought that this was going to happen to me about 2 years ago when I succeeded with my Sales Academy business. So I made money for the first time online, and it was a good amount, for me at least. It was 8 to 15K per month. And I thought I was the motherfucking man. I had a good body. I developed myself mentally, and my looks were on point. But I became arrogant. I became overconfident, and I became a bit narcissistic in that I had success because I've been failing for so long. I tried so many different things, and it was like my big win, and it went to my head. And the way that I was interacting with girls wasn't the way that I had been doing it previously, that was leading to success, being very charming, charismatic, using those social skills I developed when I was younger. And I thought that girls were just going to flock to me, and I thought that I was like the 1%, so now everything was going to be different. Really, in the end of the day, it didn't change anything. I still had to be the charismatic, charming version of myself that was in shape, dressing nice, and charming up girls to get the success that I wanted. It didn't matter that I had money. Now, at a certain level, maybe things would really change, but this is probably not a level that 99.9% of you are even going to be able to relate to. I can't even relate to it. So why even mention it? We're not talking about the hundreds of millions of dollars here, or even just like 50 million. Like, no one here is really at that level, I don't think, at least. So we're talking about normal levels of income. Even as you get into the more successful range, even if you're doing 25, 50K a month, it's still not going to make a difference. You're still going to have all the prior mentioned things. If you are a fat geek with no intelligence or social communication skills, anything like that, it's not going to matter. So you really got to prioritize the first three things. And at the same time, don't get me wrong, you should be going after success, but don't let it be the only thing that you're chasing and then thinking that once you get success, you're going to get the girls, because it's not going to work that way. So that's really important to understand. Yes, it's super important. It adds to your lifestyle. It makes you super attractive, but only if you have the prior mentioned things. And the last one is kind of forgotten about in today's society, and it's viewed in so many negative lights, which is masculinity. Normal masculinity these days is seen as toxic, but the thing is, if you don't vocalize the things about masculinity and you were just to act and behave as the way of a masculine man, girls would find you more attractive. See, if you're gonna sit there and try and lecture and debate the masculine traits to a girl, she's not gonna find it attractive. She's got so much programming from society. But when you just act masculine, girls respond to it. So that's the last thing that really needs to be understood, is that you want to have those masculine traits. You need to develop yourself. And this is going to come from the fitness, from the internal development that you do. If you solo travel, even just reading books and applying those things to your life, you're going to become more masculine. You're going to develop yourself, you're going to learn valuable things and apply them. But you just really want to prioritize leaning towards that masculinity side and making sure that you're avoiding the feminine stuff. So just watching things like this channel, there's a bunch of other channels. I consume content from people who are way further ahead than me. This is valuable. I mean, this is kind of having that masculine brotherhood in ways that you can't have it, especially like, for example, right now I'm solo traveling in a new city. As I'm working on developing my masculine friendships, a lot of the times I don't have too many. So sitting down and being able to watch content is a way that I can kind of, in a way, be around people who think and act the way that I want to think and act. And that sort of mindset can rub off on you, because they say that you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I believe that now it applies to social media. So I think you're also the sum of the 5 people whose content you consume the most. And this is really valuable. So I would say there's 3 guys whose content I consume a lot. It's going to be Tate, it's going to be Hamza, and it's Jack Hopkins. Those are really the only guys that I like to watch. I also throw in there Wes Watson. He's cool. So besides that, maybe I'll occasionally watch someone else's, but those sorts of guys are the ones that I consume the content of, and their mindsets, their values, and their beliefs get rubbed off on me. And you can do the same thing too. You can curate your group of influencers and people on social media who teach the different things and lifestyles and mindsets that you want, and you can consume those on a consistent basis, and it will lead to you having that sort of sum of the average, or the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I think that's really, really valuable. So sticking with masculine role models and figures who you want to be like is going to be super important for you. And once again, if you want to build your value across the board as a man, the High Value Man Guide has so many valuable things in there. It's really going to help set you up for success. So you can grab that now. It is for free. It's the first thing in the description below.